Hey guys, in this one, we're going to talk about dating in Sweden, how it goes. Do Swedes like Americans? That's coming up, but first I'm going to hit the gym. I just finished my run, but I feel so much better. So hey guys, Andrew coming at you. Sometimes when I'm filming or trying to get something out, especially if I come from the gym, I might sit here like this and you'll have to just deal with that. But I don't know. I really like Casey Neistat. He's one of my favorite YouTubers, and he vlogs and he talks about things. And he usually shows himself running, or sometimes he's exercising when he's talking. So I think it's okay, as this is going to be kind of like combining with vlogging and other things. Anyways, today we're talking about dating in Sweden. And first of all, I'm going to give you my experience dating, I guess, Swedish women. I've been here for 5 years. And so I can't really speak, I guess, from dating Swedish men. But for anybody, like for any girls dating guys, or, you know, anybody out there, gay, lesbian, transgender, if you want to give your experience on dating, please put that in the comments below. I'm just going to give my experience, but I think some things will be similar. First, you're going to come to Sweden and date, and you're foreign, or if you're an American. In my experience, I think that Swedish girls like American men, or just Swedish people in general like Americans. I think it just has to do with the fact that it's interesting if you think about it. We're all the way across the pond. I think it's more common for maybe someone to meet someone from Germany or even the UK, although I think Swedes like people from the UK a lot as well. So Swedes like any, but I'm sure if you come from any country, there's always going to be something about you. If you come from another country, you're just automatically different, and that can make something interesting about you. No one's going to... It might get your foot in the door for a date if you want to, but obviously just being from another country isn't enough for maybe dating longer term for another person. But definitely it's something interesting. But I mean, even if you're Swedish or something else, like, just, it's good to have something interesting about yourself. Finding something interesting about yourself would be my experience. I wouldn't recommend trying to meet someone at a bar personally, because I feel that Swedes mostly go out to a bar with their friends, to hang out with their friends, and not always socialize really with other people. A lot of times when people go out or meet other people, it's a long plan to get together, especially when people after university, so they're really focused on hanging out with their friends. That doesn't mean that you can't meet someone that way. Another reason might be because a lot of maybe bars or nightclub scenes have a lot of loud music, and it's not the easiest way to talk. In my experience, though, some people will be interested. I mean, people are going to be interested to meet you and talk to you, and just really excited to speak English. A great place maybe to meet someone might be anything at someone's house, whether it would be a party or a get-together or make a afternoon fika. It's a good place to meet people through friends, or through friends of friends is probably another great way that you can meet people. I think that the most common way that people meet nowadays, especially millennials in Sweden, would be online dating. And although some people think that online dating used to have a stigma, I think that it's very, very common and very accepted now, especially in Sweden. And I think that Swedes do a lot of things online, and so maybe dating online isn't... it's taken serious, and at this point in the day, I mean, people are meeting other people online all the time. So it's very normal. That would be my suggestion. As far as like the dating differences go, or in my experience, my recommendation, if you are foreign or whatever, I don't think there's anything wrong with, like, in American culture. And I'm sure it happens in Sweden too. Maybe it's not as common, maybe it is. This is always something I'm curious about. It's common for, like, the guy to pay for the meal if you get a meal, or like if you get a fika or a coffee. It's just a nice gesture. In my experience, I find that girls can find it to be a nice gesture, but at the same time, I wouldn't take someone out to a really fancy, expensive restaurant if I've never met them before, or I just don't think that maybe that would be nice. But if you get a fika, or if you have a coffee or something, or, you know, if you treat somebody and you do it in a really nice way, it can be a nice gesture. Although it is common in Sweden, if you're hanging out with someone, to go Dutch all the time. I still think it's a nice gesture at first, and I don't think that most people would be offended by that. I did it when I was in Sweden because it just felt polite to me. I felt like my mother back home would not be happy with me if I didn't treat somebody, if I invited them out, whether an ice cream or coffee. That being said, though, if you invite someone to a fika, and that's another thing I want to say, a fika doesn't necessarily mean a date. A date can have a fika, but a fika isn't necessarily a date. So if you ask someone to a fika, it's a very low pressure kind of thing, which is awesome, but maybe the person that you interested in might not take it as a date. So just keep that in common. They might just go to be friendly with you. I think the best thing if you're going to go for a date in Sweden is to keep it nonchalant and non-serious. like going for a walk, a kind of like a low pressure thing, a fun thing to do. And I think that's a big thing in Sweden. I think that people in Sweden are a little bit more reserved, and Americans, we tend to not be so reserved. And so I just think would be a very good way to go about it. That's been my experience. I would say if you're an expat, or if you're someone that living in another country, or just in general, like just take it really easy, have fun, keep things low pressure. And that's what I mean. Don't put a lot of pressure on things, especially if you're somebody that's foreign. If you meet someone, most people that probably come to Sweden that are coming here might have already met someone. I've met a lot of people that meet someone that's Swedish, and that's the reason they moved to Sweden. But if you meet someone, especially if you're moving in Sweden or you're just living here for a little bit, it's a thing, but like you're also getting used to like kind of where you are. So you might meet someone that's really cool, but you still kind of need to have a life outside of that. So that's something to just kind of keep as well. And just make sure you define things very well, because maybe what a girlfriend is or a boyfriend is or whatever to you is something different in each culture, and sometimes things get lost in translation, I think. So just make sure that you have good communication all the way around is another thing I recommend. So that's my advice when it comes to dating. I'm sure I missed a lot of things or said things that you didn't understand. I'm only speaking through my experience. The final thing I want to say, though, is if you are going to go on a date with somebody, whether you're Swedish or not Swedish or anything else, I think one of the most important things you can do is to be yourself. Like, we all want to be the best versions of ourselves, and I get that. And everybody should be on their best behavior when they meet each other. But especially when you're growing up, or people, I know there's a lot of younger people that watch me, is that you need to be okay with who you are. Like, I just got back from a run. That's awesome. I'm not going to be Usain Bolt. Maybe I would want to be in better shape than what I am, but like, I'm okay with who I am. It's nice to keep yourself in shape, but I don't care if you're like really, really big, like 500 pounds, or like Instagram model tight or whatever. Everybody has value. Everybody matters. And the most important thing you need to do is to be yourself, because everybody likes genuine people. And think about it. That's what makes YouTube so great. People that get popular on YouTube and everywhere else is being genuine. People subscribe to me, for example, because you guys like me, and because I'm honest with who I am and being on the screen. And people are going to do that. Don't try to be something you're not. That's my experience. I think it's much better to be who you are right away, and realize that there's someone out there that's going to like you for being you. But you never want to be someone you're not and try to go through life that way, because you're never going to be happy. And just because someone likes you or doesn't like you doesn't mean that there's not somebody out there for you. And it just, all in all, just focus on like doing great things by yourself and just learning to accept yourself. So guys, if you like this one, I would love it if you go ahead and hit that like button. That would be awesome. If you're new to the channel and you like this kind of content where I talk about Sweden and my experience, I would love to hit the subscribe button. There's been a lot of new subscribers coming to the channel, and I just want to say welcome. So nice to have you here. I'm so excited for the future. I'm going to try to put more work into these videos. But I want to just say that if you go to the links below, I'd like it if you could follow me on Instagram, because it's another way I can communicate with you. Also, please hit that subscribe bell if you want to hear from me, because YouTube doesn't always suggest things. So if you like what I'm doing, especially because I have a small audience and I want to get out there, do that. So follow me on Instagram there. And also, I have an EP on Spotify where I have 3 songs. It would be awesome if you could check out. And I have other music on SoundCloud that I haven't yet put on a label. I might do here at some point, but for right now I like it because I can just use it on YouTube if I want to. So if you want to, I'd like to have you check out those links. You can go ahead and do all that. Thank you very much, guys, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Take care.